Hi everyone, it's that time of year and I've started to go through and pull things from the garden, and I have so many beets that I really need to preserve some of them. So I'm trying a new method this year and I thought I would film a little video on it. Shouldn't be that long of a video. So these are beets. We did a deep red colored beet, which is this color here, a whitish pink beet, which is that color there, and I think this is golden. Yeah, a golden colored beet, which tend to be pretty small. We got a couple that were a little bit bigger than this, but most of them are pretty small. So we've pulled all of them. We put them in, we clean them out at the garden. So we do 2 tubs, like this kind of a tub, like a party tub. And we put water in one, and then we leave the other one empty. We scrub them real good out in the garden, and then we put them in here. And then we pulled these on Sunday, so they've been sitting for a couple days. I really needed to do something with them. We will give some of them away. We will eat some right away after I cook them. I'm going to try freezing them this year, which seems weird, but I read up on it and it looks like they hold up pretty well. And then I'm going to quick pickle some. They'll only last for like a week or a little over in the refrigerator. I'm not going to can and pickle a lot right now, just because we are planning to do another batch for the fall planting. So I'll pull those in the fall, later in the fall, and pickle and preserve those via the canning method. So this is just going to be freezing, preparing them for freezing, and preparing them for a quick pickle. So what I do, this is just my process. So I have the tub here, and I've just been pulling them out one by one. I've already started, so I'll show you what I do. And I bring them over and lay them on a cutting board. It can get a little messy, so I have a red cutting board that I like to use, just because if you use a wooden one, it will stain it. You'll have to bleach it or use salt to scrub it out. So I was using kitchen shears, but they broke on me, so I'm having to use a knife. And you want to leave about 1 inch or a little over of the stem, just to make sure that they don't bleed out, keeps them from bleeding out in the water. And you also want to leave the root intact. Some of them had broken off whenever we were pulling them. That's fine. You just don't want to trim them before you're boiling them. So I go ahead and I trim them. And then I put them, I have 4 pots on my stove just to size them, and so I can get all of them boiling at the same time rather than 1 pot at a time. As you can imagine, some of them are very large, so you can't fit as many in a pot. But I'm not sure if you can see the water here. I'll go ahead and tap on it so you can see where it's at. But it's just covering most of them. It's kind of getting close to the top, so some of them it's not covering completely, but this is kind of a shallow pan. So I have this larger pan back here for some of the bigger ones. As you can see, some of them are very large. They turned out really good this year, so I'm excited. And then, like I said, you want to leave the root and everything. And then you'll cover those, and we'll bring them to a boil, and we'll let those boil. For the larger ones, it's going to be about 45 minutes to an hour. For the smaller ones, more like 30 minutes or so, 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Just want to do them till they're fork tender. So I'm going to go ahead and finish trimming these up and get them boiling, let them boil away, and then I'll come back and explain what I do after they've boiled. Everything is heating up in the pot. I've cut all the tops off, and some larger ones are sitting over here, and then I have some over here, so it looks like I'll have to do probably 2 more pots after these are finished. And then what I did, which I forgot to mention, sorry for the sun glare over here, all of the greens that looked good, the beet greens, I kept. I'm debating whether or not to do something with those. You can blanch them and freeze them. We can just keep them in the crisper drawer and put them in salads or whatever. You can cook it like spinach, like Swiss chard, put it in lots of different things. Some of them were nasty, so I'll throw those in my composter. But yeah, there's a lot here. There's still some that were gross, but for the most part, I just threw them over here. I'll decide what I want to do with those. I'm not quite sure. Do you guys do anything with your beet greens? Okay, while these are boiling away, as you can see, they're just boiling, boiling, boiling. Some of them, I wanted to mention, some of them may stick out of the water a bit, like that one. Just make sure you turn it over so that way it's getting cooked through just like the rest of them that are underneath the water completely. While these were boiling, I went ahead and I grabbed our carrots that we had pulled. We had them in the same tub, or a different tub, but a similar tub. And we had washed them out in the garden, just kept them in the garage until we were ready. I took some gallon bags, and I'm not sure if you can see, but like right here, there you can see one a bit. I just took a pen and I went ahead and poked some holes through it so it would breathe and not retain moisture. There's some there too. Very similar to the bags that you get carrots in at the store. So that way they'll just last a little longer in the fridge. I'm not planning on canning any this time around or freezing or anything like that, just because we're planting these again as well for a fall crops. We gave some away and this is what we have left, and we eat a lot of carrots. So hopefully we'll go through those, and if we don't, we'll probably give some more away and then we'll go ahead and plant. This is a really thick bag here, but they look really good. I mean, they ended up, some of them are very large and some of them are small, and they're good. But I'm just going to go ahead and I'll put those in the vegetable drawer in our refrigerator, and hopefully they'll keep for quite a while. Okay, these have been boiling for about 45 minutes or so. They are the smaller of the beets that I started boiling. There are some pretty small ones in there, and then a couple bigger ones, but the water has evaporated some. You can see where the line, you know, where it started up there, and it's evaporated, so they aren't all that large. They just look large in this pot. Like there are some that are pretty small. So what you do is you just take your fork and you stick your fork in, and it's tender. It's fork tender, just like you would anything else. It's going in very smooth and coming out very smooth. So there are a couple that are just a little, they probably could just stay in here for a couple more minutes. So I think I'm just going to let those cook for just another minute or so. But I went ahead and prepared an ice bath, just ice and water. So when I turn this off and stop boiling, I'll go ahead and use my strainer and take the beets out of this pot and put it in the ice bath so it shocks it. Once I do that, the skin will start to peel off of the beets, and I will come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, I went ahead and pulled some of the smaller ones that I knew were already done. I have the rest that I think need a little bit longer just sitting in there boiling. And you just give them a minute. You know, the larger ones are going to need more time to cool, but just give them a minute until they're cool to the touch so you can go ahead and peel them. And as you can see, the skins just literally peel right off. I'm just going to go ahead and peel these little guys and then set them aside on a platter, and I'll show you how to trim. Okay, so I have the smaller beets that I cooked peeled, and as you can see, when you're peeling them, the tops just come right off. They just pop right off the little, these little leafy green tops that I trimmed. They just pop right off, and usually the root will pop off too. If it doesn't, I just leave it there because you're going to trim them anyway. They just usually fall right off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim this little hard top off. And I'm actually probably just going to leave that bottom part on just because it is a root vegetable anyway, so it doesn't bother me that that's there. If you want to make them even, you can trim off this little nub on the bottom as well. And then I'm just going to make about an eighth of an inch slices along, you know, of the beet. I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll bring you back and show you how I put them in the bags and take all the air out. Okay, I have my beets cut up. The tops I've cut up, they're over here. I'll put those in my composter. I have the golden, the white, pinkish white, and the red. Clearly, I don't have as many red in here. A lot of them are larger. So I have some, I'm going to be using quart bags. You can really use probably whatever size you want. And then I cannot take credit for this tip. I saw it online or on Pinterest, I forget what, but what I'm going to do, which I don't have a thing to hold my camera, so I'm using my phone. So I'm going to put the beets in here. I'm probably going to mix up the colors. I thought about doing them individually by color, but really if I want to just take a bag out, I'd like them to be kind of a mixture. I'm going to put some beets in. I'll probably get 2 or 3 bags out of this stuff here. And then I'm going to stick a straw in. Like I'll close it all except for a tiny little bit here on the corner, and then I'm going to suck all the air out and then close that little bit real fast. So that's the plan. I'm going to write on here what's in there and what date I'm doing this, and we'll see how it works out, and I'll come back and show you what the finished product looks like. Okay, sorry about that. We had to run out to the store and I had already done all this, but I wanted to show you the final product. I put all of the beets, I did like different colors, like a little bit of the gold, some white, some pink, some red. I sucked all the air out of them like I mentioned. I mean, it clearly doesn't get all the air out of them. If you have one of those vacuum sealers, that might work better. I just don't have one of those, so that's the way I did it. But so I'm gonna pop these in my freezer, and then I'll just thaw them out whenever we want to pop them on a salad or in a dish, or just eat them as a side dish, whatever we want to use them for. Now those I'm freezing. Now these I have left over. I have quite a bit left over, and I actually just ran to the store to grab some canning stuff. I have some, but I knew I didn't have enough, and I knew I didn't have any wide mouth, and that's what I want because some of these are pretty big. But I am going to quick pickle them. So I found a recipe online. You can really just Google quick pickled beets, and there's a few recipes. It's really apple cider vinegar. Put it in the fridge and it lasts like for like a week, but it's just a quick pickling method rather than canning them and doing all that stuff. So that is what I'm going to do with those. That's about everything. I will talk to you all later. Bye.